A very good afternoon to everyone. A very good afternoon. I warmly welcome you all to our fourth day of faculty development program on recent research trends on NextGen AI. With each passing day, we are getting towards a step closer to learning and growing, and I'm sure today's session will add a great value to our journey. Today, we have with us Dr. Arif Ahmed Sir. He is a renowned speaker and a researcher. Dr. Arif Ahmed is a senior researcher at the Bio AI Lab, Department of Computer Science, UIT, the Arctic University of Norway. He holds a PhD from the National Institute of Technology, Durgapur, India, and has held academic positions at Haldia Institute of Technology, India, and XIM University, Bhubaneswar, India. His research interests encompass computer vision, medical image processing, AI, natural image processing. Dr. Ahmed has authored numerous peer reviewed articles and book chapters and has served as a reviewer and program committee member for several international conferences. He is a senior member of IEEE and a member of Digital Life Norway. Dr. Ahmed has also held invited positions as a research consultant at Imaging Media Research Center, Korea Institute of Science and Technology, and the School of Electrical Sciences, IIT Bhubaneswar, India. I welcome you, sir, to our day 4 session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sefali, for your
Yes, sir.
nice introduction.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I would like to ask our participants today to please make sure you have your cameras on. It would be a very interactful session otherwise. So please, I would request all the participants in our chat box to please make sure you have your cameras on.
Thank you, Sefali,
Yes,
for
thank you,
this
sir.
information. Yeah, so
Yeah, thank you, sir.
actually, I am expecting a faculty development program is not about presenting my research, but also interacting with you. So it always nice to have to see you all here. Uh, Thank you all, and I will talk today generative AI for health and life science. As the talk already, the topic is aligned with the topic of the FDP. The topic says that recent research trends in artificial intelligence. And when we are talking about recent research trends, now we have to have talk about the generative AI, and also we have to have talk about the health and life science. So that's why I choose this topic to present uh, and share my experience with all of you. I hope that you may get some insight that what is going on recently in the era of artificial intelligence. And I also hope that you people will interrupt me in between if you have any questions and also interact with me. So before starting, I presented here that recent trends in social media. I think you people already have seen uh, this kind of social network trends. The left one is a Ghibli art, and the right one is a Google Nano Banana. So people are using to generate the image, and in social media, it is trending. And you know that what is the technology behind that one? The technology behind that one is generative AI. Now, beside that, the social network in our daily life also, we are, I mean, whatever we have our profession, we are a software developer, we are a educator, we are a blogger, we are a digital content creator, we are a safe or any kind of thing. So if you think any kind of profession nowadays, the generative AI is actually in involved in our daily life. For example, you can see there are many cases. It may be 3D it may be speech, it may be code generation, it may be image generation, it may be video generation, it may be text generation, all you know, GPT, DeepSeek, or Copilot, any kind of thing. So there are now a flood of applications in the internet for creating new thing, new image, new videos, new speech, new research. So all everything we have here also we have listed many things. You already know. You people are using many of those tools to generate something. So I can say eh, the the technology behind all those tools are actually a generative AI. But not only those things. Today I will talk about a very important recent trends of that one in the science, mainly health and life science. If you aware of that one, that in 2024, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was given these three scientists. Demis Hassabis, who is a CEO of Google DeepMind, John Jumper, Director Research in Google DeepMind, and David Baker, a research at University of Washington. So why they have given the Nobel? Because of a new era of generative AI, the application of the generative AI in most important thing today's world, health and life science. We do not have a Nobel Prize in computer science. That's why this is given for a chemistry. Why? For a single tool. That was a deep mind invention. That is the AlphaFold AI. I think many of you already heard about this one. Today, I will talk about the foundation and the evolve of the generative AI and how actually it leads to a Nobel Prize in chemistry. Now, not only those things, you have already seen that many tools are available now for creating, for solving our day-to-day life in education, content creation, video generation, cooking, many things. This is not only the research, this also attracts the businesses. So you see that I have taken one comment from a generative AI executive summary by Oliver Wyman Forum. So it estimates that a generative AI could add up to $20 trillion to the GDP by 2030, and it can save 300 billion work hours a year. People are talking that generative AI can take our job. This is not true. It is opening a new era of jobs. It will increase our productivity. It will not it will not take our job. If we can improve ourselves with the technology, then we can actually get more job opportunity. So this is not about to worry. This is to explore new thing. So in 2000 by 2023, we may add a $20 trillion of GDP. So people are doing already in many era. You have seen DeepSeek, GPT, Banana, many other, and mainly the AlphaFold in health and life science. They are now creating more money from those generative AI, and also many people are now currently get employed in this era of generative AI. Uh, One thing I need to talk about that one, that I am not going to discuss technical details of those technology behind that one, but I'll give you some rough idea what is going on. And mainly I'll try to give you the idea that what are the recent trends of generative AI in health and life science. So let's talk about what is generative AI. I think most people already heard about that one. And in the right hand side, the figure is popular. I have seen that majority of you are in education background, so you are teaching, majority of you, so you already know these things. You are teaching the students those things. So those Venn diagrams showing that we already know AI, machine learning, deep learning, supervised learning, those are things. So AI is a broader term. Then we come to the machine learning. Then we come to the deep learning. Then we have a generative AI thing. And we are also having a supervised learning. Give me a moment. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So already you know that one. So the generative AI refers to a category of AI focusing on creating or generating new content data from the information. So it's all about generating and creating a new knowledge, new data, new content. So that is the new thing. In the era of deep learning, supervised learning, machine learning, AI, in the we talk about the classification, we talk about the regression, those kind of things. But in generative AI, we are talking about generating. What kind of generation? It may be generating the text that already you have seen in ChatGPT, or generating image, or generating videos, or generating something that can be helpful for health and life science. This refers to algorithm and model that can generate new realistic data. What realistic data? It can generate your CV, it can generate your lecture plan, it can generate your image. I never visited Antarctica, but it can generate an image. I was in Antarctica, a realistic image. So that is not all. It can also generate some realistic medicine that can be helpful. That's where we were trying to focus in this talk. So the main characteristic of generative AI is creativity and learning from data and autonomy. So what do you mean by creativity? It is not like it is copy paste thing. I mean, for example, if I train a neural network or a generative AI with all the poems of Rabindranath Tagore, and then if I ask to generate a new poem, it can generate. It's not like it will copy paste a poem into your output. It can generate a new thing, because if it cannot generate a new thing, then it is a meaningless. So what is the difference between searching in the internet or generating something? Searching in the internet, it will produce you what it has seen. But generating mean it can generate a new insight, it can generate a new content. And autonomy, what is autonomy? Autonomy mean it should be automated, it can learn automatically from its own mistakes. So those three are the fundamental concept of a generative AI. Now, if we talk about the capabilities of generative AI, it's a limitless. Here I have just pointed few of them, but beyond this, we have numerous applications we can have. I have listed in education. In education, you know that already it is possible to uh, generate your course content. It can generate your lecture plan. It can generate your answers from the questions. It can generate anything. In fact, nowadays it can actually generate a total lecture videos also. Number two, healthcare. Healthcare is also another one where it can generate many things that can help into health and life science. Here actually today I will focus. Apart from this one, it can be finance. You can ask GPT for your plan, how you can gain money. Entertainment and media, virtual assistant, gaming, content creation, cyber security, many other things. So generative AI nowadays, it can do, I can say it can do anything. Just you need to think and you need to be creative for that one. Now let's come to the topic that how this generative AI build in health and life science applications. So I have listed a few of them where this generative AI can be useful or is used in various application of life science. For example, the first one in natural language processing in healthcare, where it can analyze a document provided by your doctors. It can be prescription, or it can analyze your symptoms, where you can try to give your symptoms and it can gives you suggestions that what you should do. So using natural language processing, it is possible to support the healthcare system. Genomics and bioinformatics, that is the one most important thing. Analysis of genome and different kind of biological samples. So this is also helpful to understand the disease, to discover new drugs, to understand the progression of your disease, to understand what is going on inside your body, to understand what a medicine does in your body. So everything can be possible for using genomics and bioinformatics. System biology, to understand how everything works, how your digesting system works, how how every molecule in your systems are interacting with each other, how proteins are interacting to building your body, your life, your death, your disease. So by designing a system biology, we can understand those things. So this is also possible. Drug discovery and development, that is the most precious thing. I'll discuss more about that one, where generative AI can discover and develop new drug for kind of your disease. For example, if you can remember the COVID vaccine. So designing a COVID vaccine, the role of generative AI was enormous. We can say that one. Without generative AI, it is not possible to design the vaccine within a limited amount of time. So this is also possible. Healthcare, clinical applications. So recommendation, medicine recommendation, screening, breast cancer screening, or any kind of cancer screening, pathological sample screening, any kind of thing you can do with the generative AI. Medical imaging, your MRI, your radiology, your biopsy, any your X-ray, analysis of all those data is also possible using uh, generative AI. So those can be few examples where a generative AI can be useful and can be used as an application. Let's talk more about that one, that how this generative AI useful in a particular healthcare application. For example, electronic health record analysis. What is the electronic health record? Uh, uh, in Europe, and also I think a few super specialty hospitals in India also, Indian government is also trying to build such kind of thing. In Europe, what happened? Whenever you visit a doctor, whatever you are saying, whatever they are describing, whatever your health insights, whatever the test you made, everything are in a repository. They need to put everything, what medication you have taken, what was your symptoms, what happened to your disease, or any kind of information related to your health are put it into a repository. So those are the electronic health record. I think Indian government is trying to do the similar thing. The advantage of those kind of record is what? That from anywhere, any doctor can see the record. And majority of the cases, if we have a AI, it can actually analyze those things. So So it can extract the valuable information from those data using natural language processing. So it is possible. Clinical text summarization. So it can summarize. For example, 80 years old patients came to a doctor. Now all the record have been given into a repository. Now for a new doctor, it is not possible to go through all those things. Now a generative AI, what it can do, it can take care of everything and it can summarize a most important thing to the doctor and it can present to the doctor. So it is possible there. Biomedical text mining. So what happened in that case? Numerous papers are now publishing in biomedical domain by the biomedical researchers who are mainly working on biology, medical, various components of chemical components, various synthetic chemical components, various medicine. They are researching and they are publishing their investigation, their results. Now, a generative AI can take millions of such researches and can combine them and can extract valuable information from those literature. So now research scientists who are developing a new drug, so they are using this kind of generative AI for the literature analysis, try to find out that which will work or which will not work. So this is also possible by biomedical text mining. Knowledge graph, it is possible to build a knowledge base from unstructured biomedical data, which medicine is connected with which one, which medicine is connected with which one. So it is possible to extract such kind of knowledge graph. For a layman example, suppose I am saying this is very common practice. Paracetamol is used in a fever. Now people have put it their research that paracetamol can be also useful many other cases, not only fever. It can be helpful for a pain or any kind of thing. Now now this kind of information, where from we are getting, we can get by mining all the literature and trying to find out the correlation between the paracetamol medicine and the pain. If we have seen in the literature a connection between those two components, then we can say that it is possible that paracetamol can be used to relieve the pain. So those kind of new knowledge can be extracted using generative AI, the help of the graph. If we can create a knowledge graph for a particular topic, and then what we can do, we can extract a new knowledge from that one. So people, researchers are doing those kind of things. Given our literature, millions of literature, and creating a knowledge graph, and then extracting the meaningful information from the knowledge graph. So this is also possible. Another area in an advanced healthcare domain is a genome sequence analysis. You people may know that one, that the gene is the most important building block of our body. Majority of the diseases, for example, cancer or genetic disorders or many other things, may be due to the gene. So that's why scientists, researchers are willing to know the mechanism of gene, willing to understand those things. So how they are doing? They are doing by genomic sequence analysis. Now the problem of genomic sequence analysis is that you know that the gene is a large volume of data. Millions of combinations are there. So it is a big data. Now interacting and identifying information from that big data is very critical. So people the researchers doing numerous numerical, mathematical, machine learning algorithm to work with those genomic data and to analyze that one. But the generative AI is a most powerful thing that ever seen the humankind that can deals with such a vast amount of data. So various deep learning algorithm are developed to identify the genetic variants. For example, during the COVID, we understand that it is not a single variant. Hmm. When times passes, there are new variants appears. Now, how we have identified those things? How we have analyzed those things? By the genomic sequence analysis. Mutations, what happened to the genes next? Understand there's impact on the disease, which gene is actually occurring the cancer. If we can identify that gene, then we have done 80% of our work. Then we can design a particular medicine, or we can do some gene editing, or do whatever. But our target is to identify them. So the generative AI is also useful for identifying those kind of things. Sequence to sequence model, so it can predict the effect of genetic modification. Huh? I think you heard about recent development. One patient uh, having a brain tumor now totally cured. Just the news came last day, I think a few weeks ago, and this is the first person who actually have been cured using the gene modification. So if we identify the gene which is actually responsible for growth of the tumor, then if we can modify that gene, then we can understand that we can cure the disease. So if that technology is successful, then the humankind can have a greater success in many kind of disease, and people are getting success. But the problem is what? The problem is to identify the mutation, identify the gene, and to identify the effect of modification. If we modify the gene, then what happens? It is not possible that trial and error. We try to modify the gene and we see the effect on the human. No, it is not possible. We need some sort of synthetic or some sort of uh, in vitro analysis for those kind of things. So if we have artificial intelligence capable of this, then uh, it is possible to do something bigger. So generative AI, particularly sequence to sequence model, is capable of predicting the effect of particular genetic modifications. So it can predict before doing the actual genetic modification. Protein structure prediction, that is the most important thing in the drug discovery. I will discuss more detail about that one. So the the Nobel Prize goes for the AlphaFold. The main role of the AlphaFold is protein structure prediction. That is a decade-old problem. Scientists can is not able to solve. Yes, they are able to solve. I will talk more about that one. But it requires time. It requires money. So main role of protein structure prediction is to predict the 3D structure of a protein. If a if we give a amino acid sequence and adding function, adding something, uh, for example, what happened? What is a medicine? Medicine is nothing but it has a chemical property to bound with our body protein and can do something else. Can do something else mean what? For example, a tumor, a medicine, or chemo, it's a protein, it's bound to the tumor and kill the tumor. That is a medicine. So we need to discover a particular protein that can bound to a particular protein and that can kill. So this is our target. Now, how we know that one? We know that one by analyzing the 3D structure. It's like a Lego. It will not fit. It will only fit where the compatibility are there. How we find that compatibility? There are some millions of some probability that who will do that kind of thing. So it is not possible to check every possibilities one by one. It will take forever. So we need to find somehow that can a generative AI do the task? Can predict. If we can predict the 3D structure of a protein, then we can find our database who will fit into the structure. Then voila, we get our medicine. So that is our target. So AlphaFold do the similar kind of thing. I'll discuss more about that one. So this is also one kind of application of generative AI in health and life science. This is the most important thing we can say. Synthetic biology. So it can design a new biological system. Uh, Generative model design a new enzyme. Synthetic organism. We can generate a new variation. We already know that how a different kind of species evolves. So it evolves by mutating. Similar manner, uh, uh, a virus and the antivirus, both are the same thing. The only the thing is that antivirus is the ability to kill the virus. So antivirus is a kind of new enzyme, new genetic circuit, new organism. Now, before AI, what people do? People trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. They spend their decades of times just doing a trial and error, and then found one enzyme that can kill that kind of thing. That's how the penicillin was invented. That's how many drugs are invented. So researchers, scientists, they do trial and error. Which one will work? But you know that the infinite number of possibilities are there. Now it is not possible to trial and error the entire thing. So that's that's why uh, the concept of generative AI can do that one is came, and researchers are trying to find out without doing that trial and error, can we do something better using the AI? So it is possible if we can design a biological system using generative AI. I should not say we can. We are doing now. In the era of AI, recently we are doing the similar kind of thing, and we can design a new enzyme. We can design a new genetic circuit. We can design a synthetic organism. Can we design a synthetic organism that can eat the plastic from the ocean? You know that one. If we can invent that kind of organism, then we have solved a big problem of the world. It can eat the microplastic. So if you try to do trial and error, it is not possible. It will take forever to invent such kind of thing. Here comes to the genetic AI. Genetic AI, you know that it has the capability to generate a new thing. So it should have a capability to generate a new organism. Then we check whether it will fit with our requirement or not. So that is also we are doing. Uh, so in the system biology also we can do a biological network analysis using the graph neural network. Hmm? Uh, the graph neural network can deals with the graph where we have node and where we have edge. Hmm? Why graph? Because actually the protein is nothing but a graph. I'm coming to that point. So that's why we are interested uh, how to deals with graph. So graph neural network, like a protein-protein interaction network, is used for a biological network analysis. Pathway analysis. So it is also important to understand the interaction with metabolics and signaling pathways. Again, I am telling you, What is a medicine? A medicine is nothing. For example, a cancer medicine is nothing. It's a biological sample. It's an enzyme. It's a molecule who go and suppose this is my cancer cell, cancer tumor, cancer protein, and this is my medicine. A good medicine will go in a path and bound with the cancer cell and kill the cancer cell. So, so we need to understand how they are interacting, how they are going to bound the pathway. So this is a signaling, this is a metabolic, this is a signaling, then the signaling pathway, how they are bounding. So that we need to understand. That is also possible by biological network analysis. Multi-omics integration, that is the integration of different types of omics data. Omics data are like genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, all kind of data. If we can combine all the information of our cell inside our body, the smallest component of our cell like RNA, DNA, amino acid, if we can understand how they are working, how they are interacting, how a particular antivirus killing a virus. So if we understand the mechanism, then we can have a new era of the world. But what is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is that it is too complex. It is too time consuming. It is too heavy in terms of data. So to solve these three problems, the solution is the generative AI. So using generative AI, we can deal with the vast amount of data. We can deal with the complex architecture of our human or any species biological process. We can interact with protein. We can interact with different kind of omics data like a gene, like protein, metabolomics, many data. So this is also possible using analysis of multi-omics data and integrating all of them. Another analysis can be like a predictive analysis that I have already told you, the patient's outcome prediction, disease progression. For example, the diabetic retinopathy, you know that one person who have a diabetics, it's tend to have a blindness in future. Now, it is not sudden. Diabetic patients, over time, the progression of the disease is actually increasing. Now, if we have put some medicine, then we can slow down. But what happened? We need to predict. We need to observe the progression, and we need to predict what happened after 5 years. If we can predict, then what we can do? We can take a proper measurement for that one, proper medicine for that one. So this is also possible. The patient's outcome. For example, suppose I have a brain tumor and I go to a hospital. Now the question is that suppose the operation is risky. There is only 10% chance that I will survive. Now, how a doctor will take a decision that whether they should go for operation, surgery or not, to observe the progression. Suppose the progression is very small. After 2 years, the increase is very less. So I know that upcoming 20 years, 30 years, it will not be so harmful. So I understand that, okay, we don't need to go for a surgery. If it is rapidly increasing the size, then we know that we need to go for a surgery immediate. So that kind of, so we have not seen the future, but we by predictive analysis, AI can see the future. So it is possible to observe those kind of outcome of a patients using the clinical data. So this is also possible. Risk, that I have already told you, it is also possible. That what is the risk? If we remove the tumor, what will be the consequences? So this is also possible uh, by AI. Personalized medicine, treatment optimizer. This is not possible. I mean, you know that one shoe cannot fit everyone feet. That is we know. We need a specific shoe according to your feet. The similar manner, every medicine is not suitable for everyone. A particular person may need some different kind of medicine, although have a similar kind of disease. Now people are talking that personalized medicine. Already you have seen that many of the patients says that I have visited those doctors, doctor 1, doctor 2, doctor 3, but nothing works. I visited doctor 4, giving the similar kind of medicine, but it works. Why? Because maybe that particular medicine is suitable for that particular patient. So to have that kind of personalized recommendation, we always rely on the doctors, experienced doctors. But in the era of generative AI, now it is possible that generative AI can design or can predict what will be the suitable medicine for a person specific. If AI knows everything about you, it can recommend you which medicine should work best for you. That is what calling personalized medicine. So that is kind of treatment optimizer, and that can be done in a continuous learning, reinforcement learning algorithm. Clinical trial optimization. You already aware what is the clinical trial? Clinical trial is when a medicine is works on a few samples, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Now we need to go for a larger number of patients, but sometimes it may not be possible to get a larger number of patients. For example, a particular genetic disorder that may be happen to 0.001% of the world population. Now, if someone invented that medicine to cure that particular genetic disorder, then how they will get so number of patients? Because in the world the number of patients is very limited. Everyone, we cannot apply everyone. There are many ethical, uh, political, geophysical, many problems are there. Now, where from we can get large number of patients to apply to test our medicine? Here also, AI comes. AI, if we can design a virtual patients kind of thing, so we can optimize that clinical trial. So that is also now one kind of emerging thing people are thinking about, the application of generative AI in health and life science. Medical imaging. Now, if we visit any doctor and you found something, doctor asked for various kind of imaging, MRI, CT scan, radiology, X-ray, pathology, yeah, many imaging. But the problem of the imaging is what? The problem of the imaging is sometimes the images are not good quality. Sometimes for imaging, you need a special instrument. For example, eye fundus image. You need a fundus camera. It is not possible using mobile phone. For example, X-ray, MRI, uh, it's $1 million. The cost of the machines are $1 million for biopsy, for many things, 3D MRI. So this is not possible always. There are some gap for imaging and analysis. So here comes the generative AI. Generative AI can help in that case. So it can improve the quality of medical images like noise reduction, super resolution. For example, I can remember one of my colleague fallen, and we are expect we are experiencing that maybe he broke his hand. But when we did the X-ray in a local X-ray machine, we found nothing. But after one day, we found that the pain is not the pain is unbearable. We have seen some symptoms. Then we go for a bigger hospital. They have a bigger X-ray machine, good quality X-ray machine, and we did the same X-ray again, and we found, because the crack was so small, like a hair, a low-cost machine cannot detect it. You need a high-cost machine for doing that one. But here comes, if we have a AI who can discover the crack, what human eye cannot do that one. So it is possible a generative AI to reduce the noise in your image. It can make a super resolution. It can do any kind of thing, crack detection. It can reconstruct the image from corrupted data, just what I have said. Huh? If we have a noisy X-ray, it can reconstruct and still it can identify is there any crack or not. Huh? So this is also possible, and people are doing using generative AI. This is diagnosis. You people already know identifying tumor in X-ray, CT scan. Automatically, it can detect such kind of disease. Image synthesis, medical image for training purpose. For example, uh, when people are doing MBBS, so they need to experience with that one. So it is not possible to collect millions of variety of cases. For example, MRI images. So many cases having a many variety of MRI images. When the tumor size is small, when tumor size is very big, when tumor is inside the brain, when a tumor is outside the brain. So how all the cases are possible for a medical student to see and observe? Here comes a generative AI. Generative AI can design, can generate such cases, and a doctor can be trained by seeing those kind of cases. So this is also possible using a generative AI. Okay, so those are a few examples people are doing in generative AI, health and life sciences. This is not possible to discuss all of them. I have chosen a few topics that is related to the protein and other, uh, mainly towards the AlphaFold, development of the AlphaFold. That's why. So that's why we will discuss mainly now protein structure prediction. Let's talk about that one. That try to understand what is a protein. Uh, the protein is an amino acid, a small molecule bounded together, and those are the thing. If you know that early stage of the life was evolved from the amino acid. So amino acid is the main functional block of a protein, we can say. So that is the main function. If we understand the amino acid, we can explore how life began, how the mutation, everything we can do that one. Now those amino acids are uh, bound together with each other and create two kinds of mm, form or shape. One is helix, alpha helix. We are calling that one. It's a shape of helical kind of thing, and a seed kind of thing, plated seed kind of thing. So by joining those small amino acid block, it can create alpha helix kind of block and a plated seed kind of block. That already we know from the experience. Now those helix and plated seeds are combined together and create a 3D protein structure. That is where we are interested. So now these helix and sheets are bound together and create a 3D structure of protein. We can say now we can say it's a protein. So in the inside the protein, mainly the plated sheet like things and helix like things. Those are here, and it create a 3D protein. Now one protein can interact using and with another protein. So one protein, another protein comes together, bound together, and create a DNA. And you know that those are the functional block of all the life. We have the DNA. Hmm? So 3D one protein, 3D another protein, bound together, another protein bound together, create one new DNA. So if we understand the structure of the protein and which protein can bound with another protein, then we can create a new kind of life, new kind of organism, new kind of DNA. That new kind of DNA can be helpful for creating new kind of medicine. So that's why we are interested. So in a nutshell, what we can say? We can say that the amino acid create the alpha helix and plated sheet like shapes. They combine together and create a 3D protein. One protein, another protein can bound together. Which one will bound? No, everyone cannot bound. A particular structure. For example, I have a this structure. I have a this structure. It cannot bound. But I have a this structure. It can bound together. So that means the bound which protein will bounce with another protein, it depends on the property and the 3D structure. That's why we are interested how we know the 3D structure of a protein. Then we can understand how DNA forms. Then we can create a new DNA. Then we can create a new medicine for a particular disease. So that's why we are interested with that one. Now our target is what? Our target is to predict the structure of a protein. Just for a layman language, I can say that suppose I have node, four nodes. Now I am saying that generate a graph. So there are many possibilities that how they can create a graph. It can be like that one. It can be like that one. It can be like that one. So there are millions of possibilities, and we are talking about 2D. Now, if you talk about 3D, so there are millions of possibilities that they can form a particular shape of a graph. Now think about that one when we have a millions of such nodes. Can you imagine how many possibilities are there? So it is not possible to predict or to do everything, I mean trial and error. No, that's why we need some uh, uh, big giant thing like generative AI to do that problem, do that thing. So the protein structure prediction is a fundamental problem in a computational biology. You understand from a simple mathematical perspective that predicting a 3D structure, if you know the node only, then it is very difficult. It can form any kind of shape. So that's why it was a fundamental problem in computational biology. Actually, AlphaFold solved this problem. That's why they got Nobel. So the goal, you know that it is just predicting the 3D based on its amino acid sequence. If we give the fundamental amino acid blocks, then how we can predict what will be the 3D structure of that product. And you know already know that one. If we can predict the 3D structure, then we know that which another structure can bound with that one. Voila, we have invented a new medicine. Now, this crucial because you know that it's largely determined the protein function and interaction with the cell. Huh? So already I have discussed because the structure is very important. It determines the function. Is it a virus or it is antivirus? So It is possible. If you can predict this one, you can identify the property, how it will behave, how it will act. Now let's come to the fundamental problems. I mean, when we don't have AI, how people solve this problem. So mainly, people before the era of artificial intelligence, we have uh, uh, homology modeling that was there, hmm, comparative modeling. So the principle of comparative modeling is a similar sequence have a similar structure. What is that? So already from the experiments, I'm coming also how we can do that experiment. Suppose you already know that if you have three amino acid, it always form like that one. Now the homology modeling says that again every time you give a three amino acid, it will form the similar structure. Very simple cases. Hmm? So it is why it is useful, because it is useful that it is known structure. Already you know that if you have a three node, it can create a triangle. If you have a four node, it can create a square or rectangle. So so already known thing you are doing. Hmm? So it is based on the known structure. So this is not a big deal, but this is the fundamental block. So that modeling was, if we have set of known thing, and again when we give some unknown nodes amino acid, it can predict that, okay, I know if you have a three node, it is a triangle. If it is a four node, it is a square. So it is very simplistic but very powerful, because it is correct. You already know the thing. But what is the problem? The problem is because we know only 0.000000001%. I mean, I can say that if I say 1 year 0.0000, then one, then actually it is correct, maybe correct. So only we know very small amount of those things. So it is not useful for a bigger cases. Okay, so this is the main problem with homology modeling. Number two is a threading. It called a fold recognition. So here principle is that there are a limited number of way a protein can fold. Now in the second step says that, okay, now rather than define the template, I have a concept of fold. I mean, how they can fold. For example, if I say the three node, we know only they can only fold in 90 degree. So I can say that one, it is possible that the protein can be structure can be like that one, or structure can be like that one, or structure can be like that one, or structure can be like that one. So now we are improving ourselves. Now previously we know only one way. Now from the three node, I have defined that a particular way a protein can fold. It is not random. It has some limitation. It can fold in a 90-degree manner. So those are four possibilities. So uh, align with the target, although I mean known folds. If we know the folds, this is also the similar kind of. Before that we have a template. Now we have a fold. This is also good, but the problem remains same. We know only very small thing. So this is also not useful for a bigger case, I can say. Uh, and third model, mainly before AI era, though people are using those kind of modeling, that ab initio or de novo modeling. What is the principle? Predicting the structure from scratch using physical and chemical principles. So now we are going upwards. If you know the physical property and chemical principle, then can we do the same thing? For example, let's take a simple example. Simple examples or simple problem is that suppose I want to simulate how a particular ball will jump after hitting a floor. Suppose we have a floor here. Suppose we have a floor here, and I am jumping a ball from here. Now the concept is that if we put here and how far it will go, the ball. This is the problem. Now the problem can be solved if we know already, just like the previous cases, already know. You know from 1 meter it will jump half meter. From 2 meter it will jump this meter. From 3 meter it will jump that meter. If you partially know the properties and everything, then second method. The third method says if you really know what is the gravitational force, what is the property of the ball, what is the distance from you are throwing, what is the air, what is, if you know all the condition, we can simulate without having knowledge. So if you know the property of the bounce, if you know the physical property, if you know the gravitational force, you can predict how far it can jump. The similar concept also used in ab initio, de novo modeling, where we know the physical property and we know the chemical principle. Then uh, can you simulate those things just like jumping the ball? And then we can predict. So now you can see that now we have expanded. But the problem is what? The problem is it is also time consuming, it is slow, it cannot deal with million cases. And the physical and chemical principle, we can say, uh, this is also not known. You have to physically embed all those things, and chemical physical property of all the protein we also don't know, but still this is useful. Before AI era, people have used those things and people have invented so many medicines using the ab initio method or a de novo method, but still we are lagging. It also takes an infinite number of times. It is a very slow process. Now, now if we consider the ab initio model or whatever, how people do those kind of things, the main problem is money. It needs money. You know that one. The pharma companies are one of the richest company right now. Huh? So what the pharma company? Why? You know that a small medicine it cost less than 1 paisa to manufacture. Huh? But why it cost thousand rupees? Because they have invested. They have invested the money to invent that medicine. It is not the cost of the material. The cost of the material is very small. The cost comes from the investment, inventing the medicine. So money, time. A pharma company, actually we say that if the cancer medicine is invented right now, it will come into the market after 20 years because there are many other process for doing that one. Efforts, many researchers, many scientists, many doctors, many people are investigated time on that one. Infrastructure, you need $1 million machine to do all those things. So the four constant for studying the protein structure complexity: money, time, efforts, and infrastructure. Now, generative AI can solve all four problems. That's why it goes into Nobel. Now, let's broadly discuss that how the protein structure actually predicted in experiment and how we are going to do in AI technique, generative AI technique. I am not going in detail. If you want to know about that one, you just Google it. You can understand those things about those machine. In experimental, mainly this is a 3-step process. One, first we need a X-ray crystallography. X-ray crystallography to understand the structure. Then nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy that will also create the 3D structure and their bounding everything. And electron microscopy to validate those 3D structure. Those are $1 million machine. Those are very expensive. Only few pharma company, few research lab have those things. This is very time consuming. Creating only understanding only one molecule structure takes huge money, huge efforts, huge time. So you can understand millions why they need $1 million, why they need a million people, why they need 20 years. Huh? This is time consuming, complex, expensive, many other things. Now come to the generative AI. Generative AI, mainly I am talking about AlphaFold. Mainly I am talking about AlphaFold 2. We have a protein sequence. I'm coming how to represent in an AI a protein sequence, because you know that in computer there is nothing 3D, all are 1D sequence. We have a genetic search and embed mechanism. We have structured database search mechanism. Those are two database known thing what we already know. Then the neural network Gen AI AlphaFold 2. Then we have protein, and we have the structure. We have a high confidence and we have a low confidence. Then we can predict what will be the structure. Now you can see those $1 million things are removed by a Gen AI. It is efficient, less time consuming, money is very less. You don't need many experts for that one. So it solves all the problem what the health and life scientists for discovering new drug, for understanding protein sequence, unrevealing the 3D structure of protein sequence. So AI technique, generative AI solve all those problems. So what are the notable tools you can use? The AlphaFold, developed by DeepMind. Uh, it have already included many things like evolutionary data, omics data, and physical constants. I mean, how they bound, how the physical property. So everything are embedded into the AlphaFold. Before that, Rosetta, it is a software tool, micromolecular modeling. It's ab initio that was used before AlphaFold. Using that tool, ab initio structure prediction capability we have. We have a Swiss model. It used for homology modeling. We have a iTeaser. It is also used for ab initio modeling. But after coming AlphaFold, all are become, I can say, backdated. AlphaFold can do better than everyone else. Now, in generative AI reaching towards the AlphaFold, the path was not sudden, it was a continuous development. For example, some tools and method before AlphaFold came are Dept. It was used deep learning for discovery and molecule design. Deep variant, this is also works with next generation sequence data. Those are the deep learning based method. A BioBart, this is a NLP for text modeling, BART based text modeling. Then Rose TTA fold diffusion. Sorry, I missed that one. So this is a diffusion model. And those two are GAN based model, drug gen and protein gen. Drug gen can design a new drug molecule, and protein gen, it can design a functional protein generation. Those are the GAN based model. After that, it came a diffusion based model. Then also sequence prediction, we came a prod GPT-2. This is a protein language processing model. ProLlama 2, ProLlama, this is also language model, protein language processing model. It comes. This is based on large language model. Then comes AlphaFold, AlphaProteo, same by Google DeepMind. So those are the complex uh, Gen AI things. So those are the path. First, deep learning came, solve few problem. Then generative adversarial network came, first generative AI kind of thing. Then diffusion came. Then language model came. Then combining all those concepts, AlphaFold was designed. This is a complex Gen AI model. It can do not only one task, all the tasks done by everyone. Some components are there. So I am not talking more about the deep learning based model. I am talking about the generative AI model. So first one is generative adversarial network. Just to recap, I give you a few idea of that one. What was the GAN? GAN is nothing. It was developed that we have a encoder and we have a decoder, and in between we have a latent space. So the target is to create the latent space from the input using the encoder and regenerate the same thing from the latent space using the decoder. That is the fundamental concept. I am not going in detail with that one. So what are the component? Component, we have a generator, we have a discriminator, and generator can generate an image from a noisy vector, and discriminator can identify it is fake or not fake. So you know that generative AI, the concept of generative AI to generate a realistic data. So how we know that it is a realistic or not? By the discriminator. So generator generate images, discriminator try to find out whether it is realistic or not. By optimizing these two, at the end of GAN, what we can get? We can get a realistic generated thing. I am not saying it is an image. It can be molecule, it can be text, or any kind of thing. This is the basic fundamental GAN architecture. Okay, and it tends using the same. So in the round one, discriminator is trained with the real data to identify which is real or not. Then generator is trained to generate a real data. This is a two-step process. Now, this GAN have been used previously in the beginning of the work using deep learning or generative AI in health and life science. That was generating a protein, not I can say that not in the 3D structure kind of thing, but very fundamental work. From the noise, it can generate a particular protein kind of thing. You can, if you want to know about that one, you can see. This is a very early work where it can generate some sort of protein-like thing, I can say. Okay. Virtual staining, I'm not talking about that one. It is if we have one modality of data, like a bright field microscope data, and I can convert it into color. You know that previously we have MRI, normal MRI, black and white MRI. Now we have color. So transferring those things is possible using the GAN. People have done many works, including our lab. We have also did a few work on virtual staining. Pathology image generation. Benzene tissue. If we have examples of different cancer, non-cancer tissue, then actually we can generate a new tumor tissue. Cancer cells, we can generate that one. Using generative adversarial network, it is possible to generate new pathology images that I have already talked that for training purpose, it can be useful. How it looks like all the cases of cancer. So early stage of generative AI, people have done those kind of work in health and life science. Then the first breakthrough came when diffusion model. The main problem of GAN is that uh, it is not stable, because you know that this is like a police and theft. What happened? Discriminator try to learn to fool the generator. Generator try to learn to fool the discriminator. So that's why the training process of GAN is not, I can say, good. Hmm? It's not stable. It's time consuming. So that's how the first uh, breakthrough came when diffusion models came. What is the diffusion model? Diffusion model is built on the same concept of GAN, mm, using a twist. What are the twists? So already we have a GAN. You can see GAN adversarial training. What happened? So we have a discriminator, we have a generator, and we are doing. There's a latent space. Then we have variational autoencoder. So we have a encoder, we have a decoder, and we try to learn the latent space. Now a flow-based model, what happened? It says that if we have a flow and if you have an inverse flow, can we learn the latent space? The problem with discriminator and generator, encoder, decoder is that it's hard to training, hard to generate some samples, hard to get a good enough samples. But at the flow, because the flow, if we know the flow, we know the inverse flow. And if we know the flow and inverse flow, then it is very easy to get the latent space. That is the main concept of flow-based model. So diffusion-based model is nothing but a flow-based model that actually solve a big problem of GAN or VA. What is that? For example, suppose we have an image here, real image. Now you add a T, you add some noise. It is very easy to generate. So this is your original image. If you add some noise delta, then you can get a Tth image. You add more noise, you can get this one. Get more noise, more noise, more noise, more noise, more noise. At the end, you can get a fully noisy. Now, already generating, you know that generating this all sequence, suppose this is a T and this is a T plus 100 steps. And you need only one image. You add the small noise and you can get. So this is the flow. Now, if you have the flow, you already have the inverse flow. Now, the hypothesis is that if you learn going from here to here, that is easier. Hypothesis is that you are able to do this one. Now you can see this is like a magic. If you give an input, a noisy noise, it can generate a clean image. So that is the breakthrough in the diffusion process. So when diffusion process comes, now what is our capability? Our capability is, if we give a completely noisy, it can generate anything. What you have seen in Nano Banana or ChatGPT. From noise, if you guide them with the prompt, it can generate anything realistic. And that is the main breakthrough in generative AI. Not only the image, what I can say now, it can generate the protein structure, 3D structure also. That Google have seen, and that Google try to implement that one. So advantage is a better quality data, stable, that I have already talked. So it is also the invertible transformation. Invertible transformation, because if you know this one, you can know this one. Invertible transformation. This is very easy to learn. Okay, so that's the diffusion model, fundamental of diffusion model. Then language model or large language model came, what you people right now knows as a GPT. So I'm just giving a just simple idea of that one. So language model it is nothing but a probability distribution over sequence of words. For example, if we're given a word length, it assigns the probability of the word of the whole sequence. And then language model generate the probability by training on text corpus, one or many languages. For example, if I am writing I am a good, what happened? LLM language model, it will assign the probability of all those things, and also with all the words it will assign the probability of the all words. Boy with a probability 0.8, girl with a probability of 0.9, cat with a probability of 0.6, like that way. So then it will predict next word. Again, it will predict the next word. Again, it will predict the next word. And somehow it can predict everything. So this is the fundamental way of generating any text using language model. This is a simple example that I already talked about that one. Okay, so it can give the probability of cheese, mouse, it mean all combination, and it will generate. Then the language model is actually based on the groundbreaking concept of transformer. The paper uh, uh, attention all you need. That's a very famous paper. So that is the breakthrough of everything, the LLM, the transformer block. Okay, so I'm not going in deep with the transformer architecture for the time limitation. Okay, you can go through, but the transformer is the first architectural breakthrough where everything put together and make it easier, make it learnable, make it amazing. Okay, like GPT. So transformer is the basic fundamental block of all the LLMs, or I can say any kind of thing. AlphaFold also use the transformer kind of block. Now, when we're talking about large language model, it is not simple as what we are saying. It is a very complex thing. So that's why we are calling it is a large language model operations. I mean, many things comes together. What are the operations? There are 6 operations. If you try to create one language model, you need to consider 6 main components. It is not like a single code that you can create and that you can run. What are those? Data management, prompt engineering, model management, integration with applications, security, monitoring and observability, many other things. I am not going in deep. Just keep in mind that it is not a single thing. It is a combination of many things. So I am not talking this one. So now the LLM orchestra is what we have already talked, that it required many things together. Now, how we can combine those things? You need many tools to integrate to create a language model. For example, LangChain, Llama Index, LLM Flow, AutoGen. What are those? Those are the tools you need to create a language model. It is not a single kind of code. For example, LangChain. LangChain is what? LangChain is, I can say, is a language chain. What we have 6 properties of that one. For example, it is a modular component. It has a different module. Building block can create a LangChain. It can integrate with external data source like internet. In ChatGPT now you have seen that one. Previously it was not able to answer the questions that is live. If I ask the question that what was the score of India in India-Pakistan match in Asia Cup this year, it cannot answer. But now it can answer because it had the capability to link the internet data with your deep generative AI application. It is possible due to the LangChain kind of thing. So it is capable of integration of data with external source. Prompt engineering, whatever the prompt you are giving, it need to understand it. Who will understand that thing? Already you have seen that people are in Instagram, Facebook, people are saying that I have generated this image. In the comment, I have put the prompt. You need to give the exact prompt to work. Hmm? It is not understand everything right now. You need to give a specific prompt to do a specific task. So you need a separate block for that one. LangChain have that capability. It has a memory capability. Remember the conversation. You know, you can talk with LLM. It has a reactive augment generation. So reactive augmented generation is you know that now you upload your paper and you say that okay, review the paper. So it can read your content and it can answer your query. So that can be done using RAG. So this is also inside the LangChain. Deployment and monitoring, yes, it is possible. Now you can understand that LLM ops required all those things. Majority of the problem can be solved using LangChain. So it is a orchestra. It is a tool to integrate your generative AI, your data, your document, everything together. Okay, for I have given one demo for that one. I'm not going into the demo. If you want, you can see later on. Hopefully, I am not discussing the LangChain system architecture. Okay, I am out of time. So LangChain application, it can be used for chatbot design. It can be used for summarized question answer, app development, or agents to solve specific problem. It has a standard interface. It has an external integration. It has a prompt management. It is a visualization. But everything have limitations. It is computational resource. It need GPU. It's only Python. It's not well documented. Okay. There are many other alternates. I am not talking about that one. Okay. Llama Index, LLM Pro, AutoGen. You can explore all those things. Okay. Now, why we are discussing those things? Because we are not discussing any health related thing, but no. Based on the language, I can say the protein is nothing but a language. So before that, I think that I need to discuss that how the protein is 3D protein is actually represented. The 3D protein is represented using a 1D sequence of text known as a smile. I'm coming to that one. Just remember that a protein structure is nothing but a sequence of text. If you can remember, just like that one, H2O, we can represent water using the chemical property. Similarly, the amino acid property, we can represent the DNA, RNA using a sequence of text like that one. Now, when we have a sequence of text, obviously, this can be like a language, the language understood by biologists. So that's why we are interested in language model. So can we design a large language model for the protein? Yes. For example, ProLlama LLM is a protein language model. Just like GPT can generate a new text, ProLlama can generate a new protein sequence. Similar thing. If you give a prompt, it can generate a new protein sequence. You can see. So that's why we are interested. So the structure is like similar way. So ProLlama is, you can see, it was based on the encoder decoder framework. uh, Simple encoder decoder framework, and it can generate this one. Similarly, ProGPT-2, also for your understanding, I have also given the code and paper here. If you want to know more about that one, you can go. ProGPT-2, it is the based on the GPT model, and this is also the same thing it is doing. It is generating protein in a more structured manner. For example, the right side here, I have put it the figure from the paper. It can generate the protein structure, different protein structure, alpha protein, alpha beta protein, multi-domain protein, small protein. It can generate the protein. So just like the text generation, but you know that it is not generating the figure. Of course, you can generate the figure from the text. It is generating the text, and from the text, it is very easy. There are many tools to visualize the protein. Okay. Now, in a more complex manner. So already we have discussed that GAN-based life science healthcare applications, and also some sort of diffusion and some sort of language model. Okay, now come how those can be together for a drug discovery. Uh, Now again, I'm saying that in more details that how the drug are discovered. So, for example, we have a 10,000 compounds, then we shortlisted 250 compounds by the physical method, that what I have already talked about in the lab. So only 10,000 components, 250 components, it took 6.5 years. That are preclinical. And then finding a 5 components after clinical trials, it took 7 years. After that, these 5 components are the medicine. After that, FDA review, then FDA approve. It will also take 1.5 years. So you can see almost 15, 16 years already took to design a drug. So only using 10,000 components, that already we have taken, but there is no guarantee. 90% of the cases after preclinical trial, it was aborted because you have taken only 10,000. It is possible that your drug may not be lies into that 10,000 components. So that's why 99% cases it fails. So again, you need to do from the beginning, and you are doing only 10,000 component. Keep in mind. Now it comes the generative AI. So you can see from the recent news articles, Pharma.ai already in the market. It is AI drug design platform that can handle millions of things here. Here, actually, here. All 14 years approximately have been solved using only 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or 1 month maybe. We can come up with a drug automatically from millions of things. So pharma AI, so AI design drug for cancer and other disease. USP1 inhibitor for treatment solid tumor, already FDA approval got. It is invented by generative AI. This is another news. Financial Times. In silico medicines leads drug for the treatment of rare progressive lung disease in phase 2 trial with patients directly, designed by generative AI. So this is also a milestone for fully. All are comes last 2-3 years. I can say last 2 years. This all are the recent. I think this is all are this year. So generative AI discovered, and it is now in a clinical trial. This is in phase 2 trial. Phase 2 trial mean already successful in phase 1. You can see NF2 mutated meningism, children's tumor foundation. This is also now in market, I think. In 2022, Helix, it was succeeded. Fragile X syndrome for cancer. This is also now already succeed. They have now those medicine. 23 coming cancer, Alzheimer, arthritis, fibrosis. People are doing. Now, how those are doing? How those drugs are developed? Now you can see this is the molecule or drug. This is described in text using simplified molecule input line entry system SMILE. This is a text. We have a SMILE text input, encoder, decoder, generate, solve. But this is a very simplistic case using variation autoencoder that we have already talked about that one. And later on, using GAN also, it is possible. We give the sequence, we can get the real drug. Protein GAN, this is also possible using GAN. We have a generator, we have a discriminator. You can see the sequence, generated protein sequence. It can generate a new protein sequence. Rose TTF fold diffusion. This is a diffusion based model. This came recently 2-3 years ago, 2022, 23. So it used the diffusion based model for predicting the 3D structure. You can see it can predict various structure. Now already you know that diffusion model can do input. So at t equal to 1, input to output, input to output, input to output, input to output. You can see from completely noisy molecule, it can predict accurate protein structure. That is the breakthrough. Using the diffusion model, we can, from the noisy molecule, we can have this kind of generation using diffusion model. Now, the AlphaFold combine all those things and create a breakthrough. Concept is similar. Here the generator, we have a filter, then it can predict, then we can do the experiment and we can confirm. So AI, it will search from the scratch AlphaFold and it can predict for a particular cancer or particular disease. Those are the possible binders. Those possible binders, then people take into the lab and tested it and succeed. This is the medicine. So AI gives you 5 options. Those 5 options or 2 options. Those 2 options, you check it, you confirm it. This is your medicine. I have taken the, okay, I am not able to run the video, but you can see into the link where you can see the video, how AlphaFold designed the protein and the bonding together. Yeah, it can play. You can see. So target protein is my cancer, and it is the designed by AI. So initial from noise, it can predict the structure and it can predict where it can bound. Now this is the medicine and this is your culprit for your disease. So there are various successful application of drug discovery by AlphaFold. This is for Epstein-Barr virus protein involved in cancer. This is SC2-RBD involved in COVID-19, involved in HIV, IL-7, so immune system protein involved in cancer. chronic pain involving cancer, autoimmune disease involving cancer, diabetic retinopathy, all those protein have been discovered by AI. That took 20, 25, 30, 40 years for the uh, clinicians or for the doctors or biologists. That is invented by generative AI within a month, we can say. Uh, you can, this is the website where 20 million protein structure prediction are there. You can go to that, and also you can explore. You can search by sequence, organism name, more. You can see AlphaFold protein structure data set. You can see now. Can we use AlphaFold? Yes. AlphaFold already public, and already we have AlphaFold server. I have already put the link for you. If you want, you can explore. And with that, I thank everyone, and now I am open for the questions. I thank Mitchell. I have taken a few slides from him. He is working on AlphaFold. I am thankful, and also I thank Better you where I am working. It is a multidisciplinary healthcare project where our target is to have some sort of. Okay. Thank you very much, and I am open for a question. Anyone? Any questions? Anything regarding?
Thank you so much,
No?
sir,
Yeah. Yeah.
for this enlightening and engaging session today. I would like to ask audience, as sir has requested, if there are any queries you can ask with sir or you can discuss with him. He's here with us only. If anyone wants to share their doubts, please go ahead.
If you have anything, you also can reach me in my email. I have put it in the chat. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the reach. And thank you so much, sir. I think there are no more doubts, or should we wait,
Yeah.
sir?
No. We can conclude.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for an enlightening and engaging session today. Your knowledge and insights have greatly contributed to the success of our FTP. We deeply appreciate your presence with us here today. And we really thank you for taking out some time and giving your session in this FTP. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I am leaving now. Yeah. Thank you.
No, sir, wait a second.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay.
as you can see on the screen, there is a small token of appreciation from us to you. I would like to tell you that we have been obliged by this session. So please accept this token of appreciation from us. Certificate of Keynote Speaker. This certificate is proudly presented to Dr. Arif Ahmed in recognition of your outstanding contribution as a keynote speaker at FDB on recent research trends on NextGen AI, organized by the Department of CSE-AIML, Haldia Institute of Technology on September 19th, 2025. Your expertise and dedication to the field have greatly enriched the experience of all the attendees and helped to make this event a success. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Now, I would like to announce all the participants. The feedback link and the attendance link are pasted or are provided in the chat box. Please go through it. The link was provided at 4:36 p.m. so it will be open or active till 1 hour only. So do accordingly or do fill the forms accordingly. There is one feedback link and there is one attendance link. Both are different. So kindly use the same mail ID that you have used for the registration process also. So please kindly keep that in mind. Thank you all for joining with us today. We will see you in our last day of our session, that is on Monday. So happy weekend. Thank you all.